Hey guys, it's your girl, Foresty Hair Chick, and I'm here for another video. Last week we had a conversation about the different topics that I wanted to tackle on the channel. And so this week I'm coming to you with a video that's all about a book that I just finished reading. So, for those of you out there who are interested in being an influencer, and if you don't know what an influencer is, it means that you're a blogger, a vlogger, or you create content on a full-time basis. So if any of you out there that are watching have ever considered blogging on a full-time basis, or if you are currently doing it on a full-time basis, I have a book recommendation for you. This book is called Influencer. I forgot how I was exposed to it. I think it was a friend of a friend type thing. But for those of you who don't know, I have a marketing agency, and the agency is focused on connecting influencers with brands. And we do that in a variety of ways. But I wanted to read this book because no one ever knows everything, right? I feel like I'm a student of marketing, so I'm always trying to continue learning. Because as soon as you think you know it all, girl, bye. You never know it all, you just don't. Life is a journey of learning, and sometimes you gotta unlearn things. So I was really excited to read this book because I haven't really come across any content that was just for influencers, and this author does a great job just breaking down essentially a starting framework or a checklist of things you should keep in mind and do if you're interested in pursuing being a full-time influencer. So I have some little flags in here. I'm going to share with you 5 call-outs from the book that I thought were particularly pertinent and might help some folks. So let's dive in. The first one says, most brands don't know what they want, so it becomes quite the challenge to deliver it when you don't know what it is and they can't explain it to you. So I've definitely run into this with the agency. So sometimes a brand will say that they want a video, a hair video for example, and they want you to do a style for Christmas. Challenge is they may not tell you what kind of style to do. So you may create, let's say, a cornrow style to the back, and maybe the brand thought you were going to create an updo because you usually do updos on your channel. So when you decide to create content on a full-time basis, you'll find yourself in situations where you're creating content for these companies, but the companies don't necessarily know what it is they want from you. And one of the things you can do if you find yourself in that situation is you can start to ask questions to help you get a specific definition of success. So ask questions. So, okay, you want me to do a Christmas video? Do you want my hairstyle to be up or down? Do you want my hairstyle to be natural or straight? You just ask questions to get a clear picture of what the end goal is, and then you create. If you don't know what success looks like for that company, then don't do it, because you'll end up in a situation where it's just a lose-lose. They'll say that you didn't give them what you wanted, and you'll put all this time and energy into it, and you won't want to work with them, but they won't understand where you're coming from, and you'll just be like, they're crazy. So I find that there's a couple things you can do. The main thing is create a brief, which means, first of all, the company should be giving you a brief. So start by asking, do you have a brief? If they don't, then, and you still want to work with them, then you can whip something up that spells out, this is exactly what I'm going to do for you. These are the 3 different hairstyles, you got to pick one of the 3. So you basically have to get them to commit to a final outcome. You want to have a clear vision of what the end goal is, and they need to have a clear vision. When those visions aren't aligned, or you guys aren't clear on that stuff, that's where it gets hairy, that's where it gets messy. So yeah, anyway, this is in the preface, but it says most brands don't know what they want, so it becomes quite the challenge to deliver it. And I could just really identify with that. It's come up a lot with the agency work that I've done. Okay, the next thing in here is on page 3, and And I love this so much. I think it's awesome that she did this, and I hope this becomes an industry standard. But she has broken down influencers into 10 categories. So these are the 10 types of influencers, right? So she has broken it down on page 3, 4, 5, 6. This gives you a full breakdown. And so I really, really like this because you can kind of put yourself in a box. If you're working on becoming an influencer that does it full time and you're not sure where you fit, you can identify which category applies to you. So she has blogger, vlogger, expert, animals, toddlers, and memes, kind of like, I guess, like the comedy / other category, special talent, entrepreneur, high-end model, celebrity, notable, real people. And she gives a breakdown of all of these things, and this is just super, super helpful. So if you are an influencer, and maybe you're part-time, you're not doing it full-time yet, or you do it as a hobby, man, check this out. It's in the introduction starting on page number 3. Super good stuff. The next call out. If you're not telling your own story, someone else will tell it for you. This, I think, is particularly resonant for brand owners. So if you own a company and you want to hire an influencer to help you promote your product, let's say that you have shea butter and you're selling shea butter, and so you want to hire an influencer to help you with that. If that's you, make sure you give them talking points. Make sure you're really clear on the story you're trying to tell, because otherwise you don't get a say in it. People are going to talk about what they want to talk about. So I'll give you an example. If the story is you make the shea butter in Ghana, for example, because you know I'm from Ghana, my whole family's from Ghana, let's say the story is that the shea butter is made in Ghana, but you hire this influencer and their whole story is the shea butter is really hard, but it's really strong. It's like they didn't even focus on the important part, which was that it's made in Africa. So now they got everybody focused on a different story. So yeah, that's why it's so important that you tell people what message you want them to put out about your brand. I liked that one a lot. Okay, let's talk more. This one says, the content you make is usually shared by brands on Facebook and Twitter. And if they can't tag you in it, you just lost a huge opportunity to pick up new followers. I like this because I get asked sometimes by influencers that we work with if it's going to be a problem that their username is different. So maybe on YouTube they're Mellow Yellow, but on Instagram they're Mellow Yellow 1. I mean, it's not ideal, but it's not a deal breaker, you know. But if you're Mellow Yellow on YouTube and Crazy Yellow on Instagram, that's a problem because now it's just confusing. It's like, are these two different people or is it the same person? So a lot of people who started on YouTube back in, like, when I first got on, I think it was like 2012, 2011, at that time it wasn't obvious that this could be a whole career for a lot of people. So most people had the names that you had when AOL first started, where it's like Pretty Girl 88. Now everybody's changing to their real name, you know? So I can understand how you might have a funky username. But if you want to be an influencer full-time, if you want to do this as your thing or as like a career, well, part of that territory is you gotta level up. You gotta start acting like a brand because you are one. So you need to pick a name that you can have the same in different places so it's not confusing. So yeah, I liked that. And last, she has a tip in here on page 29. And I love this because I do this, I started doing this when I started having issues getting this information. So let me tell you what it is. So when you go to, so our agency has to find influencers and match them with brands for certain occasions. So I might be in a situation where I've assigned a couple account managers to go on Instagram and research influencers to partner with and to work with. and you'll go to their Instagram account and it'll say something like, I am the light, I am the love, hip hip hooray. But there's no email, there's no city. Like, it's frustrating, there's just no information. So it's like, man, help me help you kind of thing, because my client, the brand, might be based in Seattle, so they're looking for people in Seattle to come help them with a private, like, really frou-frou event that they're doing. Maybe they just want influencers to come to this little frou-frou thing that they're doing at the Microsoft headquarters, you know? And so if your information isn't readily available and they gotta go dig and look for it, it's frustrating. So one easy way to eliminate that she talks about in this book, and that I always tell people to do, and I think it's a super good idea, is you just put a little pin. So if you go to my Instagram, you'll see this. You just put a little pin that says, this is my city, this is where I'm at, and this is my email address. You just want to make sure in your Instagram profile that you have the little drop pin that says, you know, I'm in Atlanta, Georgia, and this is my email address. Someone who does a really great job of this is Dana Bolden. So if you check out her Instagram profile, you'll see that. But yeah, it's a nice tip that will help you get a lot more interest from brands and companies that are looking to partner with you. So overall, so the book is called Influencer: Building Your Personal Brand in the Age of Social Media, the Blueprint to Manage and Monetize Your Influence as a Content Creator. It's an easy read. I read it, I think it took me 2 days to read, but I spread it out a little bit because I had some stuff going on. But yeah, I liked the book. I thought it was very helpful and informative for the audience that it speaks to. And as a marketing nerd, you know I love stuff like this. So, I hope you found this information helpful. I have a couple questions for you. Do you consider yourself an influencer? Let me know in the comments below. My other question is, do you want to be an influencer? Would it be cool to you to create content full-time, whether that be on YouTube, a blog, Instagram, whatever? Talk to me about that in the comments below as well. And until the next video, thank you for choosing to visit my channel, for choosing to hang out with me. I appreciate it. I'm really excited to kind of be back in the fray, if you will. And if there's anything you want me to talk about within the topics that I've mentioned, you let me know below and we'll go from there. I hope you have a great rest of the day. Until the next episode, it's your girl 4C Hair Chick. I'm outro. Peace.